before we get into the podcast, drafted NBA, which is the hoop dreams of most kids growing up in this country. They want to play, all ages and races want to play in the NBA. You got to do that. And then it didn't end the way it should have, in my opinion. Injury and some other drama. Talk a little bit about that and how you got through it.
The injuries at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, how I got through it. It was hard. I had to persevere through it. It took a minute. But sometimes when you be in deep depression or you be so deep in something that you played your whole life that just get took away from you, sometimes it take a while. And sometimes when you look up, years then went by. But luckily I had good friends and Q and other people to kind of get that spirit back in me. And now you're seeing me doing podcasts and stuff like that I thought I'd never be doing.
All right, so Quentin, how did this podcast thing come to be?
So it started off a few years back. I had done a story, a letter to my younger self with the Players Tribune, and then it was kind of telling my story of my journey and stuff like that. And like Dee said, we stayed connected, and when he was ready to tell his story and to kind of let people know what was going on with him, I told him that we should use the Players Tribune. I had a contact that I was a real tight friend with that I knew before he got there, and that was kind of how that relationship started. But I was like the co-executive writer or whatever with your story. I did something. I was like the ride along basically for his story, and they kind of got to see our chemistry and how we were around each other, and they saw that it was it was a real deal. We've been knowing each other over 25 years, so it was. What you see is what you get. And they were like, yo, man, I think, you guys got a great chemistry and got something. I was talking to my man, Chris Bernard, and we were going back and forth about what could we do and what could we do next. And, we stumbled across the podcast idea which D Miles was completely, totally against originally. He just, it wasn't something that he ever saw himself doing. But obviously we kind of, we massaged the situation and he got comfortable enough with it that we gave it a try. And, it's been one of the best things we've done so far.
What is so? When I look at Chris Webber and Jalen Rose, who has evolved into being an amazing, commentator. Of course, Kenny Smith with Charles Barkley and Shaq. That's some of the best television. That's some of the best, chemistry you see anywhere on any cable outlet, right, or any news outlet. What is Knuckleheads? What are you guys talking about?
Listen, man, we cover everything they talking about, but we talk about, we get a little bit more intimate than those guys do. I mean, because it's a television network and they have certain, standards and things and that they have to stick to, we dive a little deeper. They deal with basically current basketball games and the games that are going on right now, things that are really current. A lot of our conversations are evergreen. They don't really have to be in a time period. You can talk about it and listen to it at any time, and it's not relevant to what's going on right now. Sometimes some little tidbits can be relevant to what's going on right now, but in a nutshell, when you come listen to us, man, you're gonna get your favorite hoopers, and you're gonna really get real organic stories that you wouldn't get from nowhere else, because they sitting down, they talking with their peers. And a lot of the stories we've been privy to by either being there or knowing one way or the other, by this is a fraternity and we all kind of know each other. So we get to dive into those stories. Obviously the good-hearted, fun-spirited ones that are appropriate.
All right, so Darius, talk to me as if you want me to listen. Like, tell me something in one of your episodes of Knuckleheads that gonna make me go, I got to listen to this.
It's about, like he said, a fraternity. I feel like everybody who make it in the NBA, they are special. It's only a certain amount of us. It's only 4,000, maybe 5,000 of us who ever.
Give me some tea, Darius. Don't give me the elevator pitch. Tell me something that's in an episode that will make me like, oh, I have to listen to the rest of this.
Well, one of the good things, one of my favorite things from one of the episodes is Big Baby Davis talking about how he grew up with Simone Augustus, and he was so excited to spend a night over a house that he peed on their couch bed. And that's just a story. And we had Simone on this season, and she recapped it and told us what really happened from what Big Baby said. So I think that's some exciting stuff that be happening on
To
the
this
show.
day, Simone Augustus' pop say that he owe us a let-out couch. You got to replace that.
Yes, he does. And he could do that. I mean, who pees when they're excited? Okay, I'm definitely I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued. All right. So how much of like your personal background, Darius and Quentin, how much do you bring to this? Because I'm also thinking about the shop, which LeBron and they're interviewing people and it's amazing. But again, it's also television. So how gritty, how deep does this get?
We
What,
don't.
what,
Everything is real. We don't. We not faking it or telling any fake stories or sensationalizing anything. I think that was a good thing that's about the story that he brought up with Big Baby, because we had Big Baby on 2 seasons ago, and now we have Simone Augustus on, and she's telling the same story. And it's it's like we don't. I mean, I think who me and Darius are and who we've been known to be, that's why we can get the guests and the people we can get, because they know who we are, and they know we not cutting corners, we're not trying to do anything for clickbait. Everything that you see and you get from us is 100% real and organic, and it's just what it is. When we get them in that zone and we talking and we hanging out, these are the type of stories that come out.
Did
and
you bring was Brandy on this season, Quentin?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So go ahead, Darius. Darius, of the people that you want to interview that you haven't yet, who's on the list?
Michael Jordan, Barack Obama.
Okay, all right, y'all going for Barack.
Just
He should be available right now. He's got a book coming out
yeah,
today. Or
just
soon.
like I would love to talk basketball with Barack Obama, and everybody want to have Michael Jordan. And a current player that's a GOAT is LeBron James. We would love to have LeBron James on the show and hear him just talk about some of the stories that he have to talk about.
All right, honestly, you too. I've watched President Barack Obama play basketball. I'm gonna say this publicly. I think his game is trash. All right, confirm,
For his age,
deny.
for his
What?
age, you don't think it's good
For his
for his
no,
age?
for any age, his left-handed. He had. That's what I do. No, that's not what you usually do.
He
Is miss.
cashed out on that though. He cashed out on that. Walked up
Yeah,
in the
anybody.
jacket, in the suit
Okay,
jacket and all that. Like, you gotta give him some
come
love on
on.
that.
Come. All right, all right.
And
Y'all
that's
are
what
so
That's
good
from
because
a
you
you
want to
real
get them on
hooper.
your
Like,
show.
I'm telling you, I didn't work this side and worked with the Pistons and been on the sideline in the suits and tried to throw airball shouty over here. So I had to give him some respect to have on the collared shirt with the members only jacket, and he cashed that thing out and walked off. But this what I do. I had to respect. I thought that was fly.
And my respect for him is he's 50 years old running up and down the court. So,
All
a
right,
lot of
yeah,
50-year-olds.
y'all ain't that far from it. So, like in 10 years, I expect you to be able to. I have a buddy named Rex Chapman who's still out there.
That's my man. That's
Still drink.
my guy. Blocker
Come
Charles.
on, yeah, he's older than both of you and can still drain that jumper. I dare people to challenge him.
But
I
can he
never
run
said
up
that
and
I couldn't
down the
still drain that jumper. I never said that. I can totally still drain the jumper.
court?
Okay, all right. You mentioned Detroit. I recently saw Shannon Sharp and Isaiah Thomas talking about The Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaiah didn't know Michael felt that way, which I'm calling BS right here. I'm calling BS on that. How could you not know? We all knew. Everyone knew. How could he not know? Without there being I don't want to create beef because I think there's no time and room for that. As you watched The Last Dance and you saw the portrayal of Isaiah Thomas in that through Michael's lens, and that's his story, so he has a right. Did you talk to Isaiah? Have you talked to Isaiah? Is he on your list of people that you're going to talk to?
We had Isaiah on not last season, season before last. But Zeke, that's my man. That's my OG, one of my mentors. He's from Chicago, somebody I looked up to and still, looked up to. When it comes to the whole him and MJ conversation, man, those are legends and Hall of Famers, and I let them deal with that. But I love Isaiah. I got nothing bad to say about Isaiah. He was unbelievable to me and my family in one of the darkest times of my life. And I got nothing bad to say about Isaiah. And everybody obviously knows how I feel about MJ. So I let that be with them, and they deal with that. Everybody, I don't have to have an opinion on that because I love them both.
Perfect answer, Quentin.
Real
I'm setting you
ballers,
up.
and real ballers know what Isaiah was. Like, we don't look at Isaiah as a villain. I think that's more of a fan thing. or what it is. We look at Isaiah as he was one of the dogs, if not the best point guard to ever play the game.
One of the best ever.
That's how we look at him.
I agree. I'm not a real baller, but I concur with both of you. We're in a special time. I think this is history. We're in history right now, and with the pandemic, racial unrest, the whole upheaval with our elections. How much of that are you bringing to the Knuckleheads this season?
I mean, that was obviously something that was on a lot of people's hearts. So, I mean, that's something that we absolutely talked about with a lot of the guests this past season. I mean, because the last season it was kind of corresponding as that was going along. So we kind of took a deeper dive into it this past season, but it still came up in a couple of conversations during this season. So, I mean, we let the conversation go where it is, go where it goes, and we don't try and deter it or stir away from anything. We talk about the things that everybody want to talk about and what's going on.
How are both of you and your families dealing with this?
Awesome.
Blessed.
Very blessed, because we realize right now, like you said, this is a different time in the country in America. Me and Darius ourselves, the Knuckleheads, we putting on a food drive here in Orlando to try and impact the community, because we know, I mean, hunger is something that goes on year round all the time. But I mean, right now with the situation in the country and what's going on as far as COVID and people not being able to work, we know it's a bigger need for that. So we trying to do our part and help out.
Well, I'm gonna have to spend my holiday weekend going down a rabbit hole of Knuckleheads. I thank y'all for doing this and for showing up real. This is important. We need this connection, and you guys are just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, the Knuckleheads. Check them out. We're gonna drop all of the information on our Twitter page. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we could all do that.